Hi, everyone. This is Chris again, speaking with Brett Sikora, the founder and CEO of Align. And this is going to be an interesting conversation because Brett has a really interesting background. And I want to talk about persistence and resiliency and not giving up in the eye of darkness. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into where we are now, which is being one of the top real estate agencies in New Jersey.
Definitely. So I was in car sales. Well, actually, I should go back. In high school, I started a landscaping company senior year. So did that, didn't go to college. I went to county college for one semester for the benefits, stayed on my parents' plan. But no, I didn't go to college. And from there, grew the landscaping business and really knew that that wasn't what I wanted to do. I knew that finding and scaling the right people and honestly help workers, staff, growing that organization with small profit margins I saw was, somewhat difficult. So I ended up selling that, got into real estate in June of 2007. Market collapse. So anybody who's going through what we're going through right now and feels like, hey, this is a tough market, you and I always joke about it. Real estate is the stable thing to own right now in this tough market. In 2007, everything was melting down. It was a tough market across the board, and real estate is what caused it. So to get a buyer to transact in that market was difficult because if they didn't buy today, the house was less money tomorrow. So they knew that, and they kept going and going and going. So I actually failed. It didn't work for me. And from there, I went into car sales, and that's July of 2008, I got into the car business and things went well. So I was the internet sales guy. I think I was 21 years old at the time. I knew how to use the internet better than a lot of the older car salesmen on the floor did, and was just responding to emails that came in online. But we'd invite people in, we'd sell them the car. And one of the things that I always hated about the car business was when they came through, I wanted to give them a deal. I wanted to build a customer base. And we had our checks and balances at the dealership, so you'd have to have a sales manager come out or approve the numbers that you were giving to the client. The car business stinks because it's your goal to get them on the highest payment possible, and then you get paid more as a result of that. So you're basically taking money out of the consumer's pocket, and then that makes you more money. I was never crazy about that. Unfortunately, September of 2008, everything collapsed, and that's when the car business felt it as well. The Dow dropped, I think, 5,000 points in one day or something wild. Lehman Brothers failed. That was the meltdown. So in October 31st, it was Halloween. It was a Friday. I still remember it. I went into Gotham Realty, and that's when I started my real estate career again after I had failed. I got into rentals, did my first rental that Sunday. I think I got paid $700 the following Thursday, and I was back in business. So that was my back against the wall, resilient moment where I didn't have any other options. I didn't have a college degree to fall back on, and then the car business wasn't working. And I was like, all right, I got to make this work. So I moved to Hoboken, made it work, and had some of the right people around me to help get to where I am today. And that's a bumpy, wavy road of a lot of ups and downs that I still live through. Everybody does. It's like a squirrely, success is this. But I think that it's really, growth is having that discipline to just repetitively get punched in the face and wake up each day and continue to show up and continue to show up and continue to show up. And what I've become passionate about is helping realtors not experience what I did from 2007 through 2000 and let's say 13 is when it really started to click for me. So there's 6 years of just major ups and downs while earning good money. But I really know that my purpose today and why we've kind of created Align is to really shorten that gap and make sure that the agents within our ecosystem, we can see, key performance indicators of them screwing up or falling off the accelerator well before it translates into lack of income 90, 120 days down the road.
What do you find is the common trait? I mean, we had a really good conference call yesterday that you sponsored, your firm sponsors, with really great attendance. And we were talking to some of your top producers. What do you find is the common thread of people who are fully committed to this and really make a living doing it, a working wage?
It's honestly, there's nothing glamorous about it. It's the consistency. It's about having conversations with people day in and day out. Whether you're marketing to have those conversations, you're cold calling to have them, you're networking to have them, you're doing open houses to have them, whatever it may be, it's really tracking and measuring that and knowing that you're moving through that, in a way where you're very purposeful about the outcome of it, but also everybody touched on it being authentic during those conversations. So you can't be authentic and not have conversations with people because nobody's going to know about your authenticity. And you can't have conversations without authenticity because people are going to sniff that out. So when you marry the two together and you're moving forward and actually paying attention to your schedule and not having days lost where you felt like you were working but you're really just busy, you really start to get traction in this business.
Do you find that the new generation of real estate agents coming up are just relying on text and email versus what we're doing right now, which is everything?
Yeah.
I'm old school.
Yeah.
It's done with a handshake.
Yeah.
It's done with eye-to-eye contact. Do you find that you're trying to push back towards that? Because I know you had mentioned when you and I had spoken before that you were at Weichert.
Yeah.
That's how you started. And they were talking about join the PTA, be a soccer dad, and at 21, I don't know what your kid situation was at the time.
Yeah.
But that's impossible. Do you feel that if you go back to that system, it separates you from the Gen Zers who just want to text and email and text and email and not have that personal contact?
Well, I think that too. I mean, if you go back to that, they're reading too much from a textbook, honestly, when they're talking about that specific training. And where, what you've brought to the organization and where you differ, and the message that's always been clear with me as well, is we need to make sure that you're in that face-to-face or you're on the phone or you're having those conversations, but it needs to be in a way that empowers you. So one of the things that you did was the soup kitchen. Mm-hmm. That you're giving back, you're interacting with folks, you're feeding families that need to be fed, and are not in the best place. So you're sharing joy, all of that stuff. It was great. And then having consistency around that, you're meeting people, you're interacting with people. The people that are running the soup kitchen are often they're volunteering as well. They're not sitting there on some cushy salary and stuff. So they're putting their time back, and you're just working through that network. The Chamber of Commerce, they have an all women's brunch, I think, in 1 month or something like that was sent to us. And there's just so much opportunity to get in front of the right people with something that really aligns with what that agent wants to do. And I think that if we tell people that are 21 years old to go join the PTA and sell soccer moms or soccer dads homes, it's not, you can only do it for so long before something's not aligned there, it's going to burn out. But if you tell somebody to, sign up to volunteer for the Wounded Warriors or, something that speaks to them, and then that can get consistent where the next 12 months is mapped out and they know what they're doing and they know the events they're going to, and they're going to the events knowing that they're going to try to have 20 meaningful conversations that has nothing to do with real estate and just connecting deeply with people. Or we're going to this Saturday a Christmas soiree with people that we don't know. I have one mutual friend at it. Right. We're going to go and we're going to make friends.
I think a word you just said, and it really came up and resonated yesterday in our meeting, was consistency.
Right.
You just can't do it one-off.
Right.
It's Groundhog Day.
Right.
Anyone I know who's been good at, not even real estate, any business.
Yeah.
It's rinse and repeat.
Yep.
Rinse and repeat, and just continue to do that. So why don't you share with us your evolution from Sikora to this incredible launch that's coming out and everybody's super excited about it, which is Align, and why and what are the differences between the two?
Yeah, well, first off, you always bust my chops too. So it's something. It's been around for. I've had the company for a while, and it's been sitting there, and I keep telling you, I'm like, it's not ready. It's not ready. It's not ready. It's on the back burner.
It's like baking a stew, whatever you were doing,
and the stew.
And now it's about to be fed.
And the stew was finally November 1st is when we made the switch within the EXP organization. We just had the coaching aspect get launched. We're going to probably December 15th or so is going to be our first.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Product there. Yeah. So that transition from Sikora to Align is that The idea is there's something much bigger. There's agents, there's team leaders, there's broker owners that I'm in constant collaboration with that need help beyond what is offered through their current brokerage or their current coaching program. Like they're doing some of something well, but they're not doing the other stuff well. And we knew that to run an organization of our size, we had to be very good at a lot of different things. We found that we can share in on those resources for other teams. So if there's a team selling $100 million per year in real estate and they don't have a director of sales, they can tune into our system. Omar Subi is a fantastic director of sales, and you can get into our boot camp with you and Eric Eckhart. And there's so many different things available where they don't have to pay $250,000 a year in salaries. They can fractionally plug into it. Similar with the CFO, the fractional CFO that we're working with. Mm-hmm. So that was the concept behind it. And there's either the partnership, which is more of the brokerage aspect of things, and then there's also the aligned coaching leg of it, which is, where you asked me to touch on, where I found that a lot of the coaching that I've been to, that I've experienced throughout my career, is a lot of sizzle and missing the steak. So there's a lot of really good marketers out there in the coaching industry. There's a lot of coaches that have never actually run successful real estate teams that just came up through coaching. And I've had them, and a lot of them are fantastic. But what really differentiates us is we were more involved with the logistical component of like when systems break. We know here's how we run the system, here's why we run the system. It's probably going to break here. We're going to be there to fix that break, and then we're going to move you past that. That doesn't really exist right now. We haven't found that in the industry. So we figured, let's keep pooling resources, and we're merging in some pretty big names too, and playing with some bigger components, which brings more revenue to the company, which allows us to continue to hire better help. And that's, honestly, from a coaching component, I feel like a lot of the mistakes that I see is, people don't have the time to properly train their staff within them. They hire the wrong staff. They don't fire that staff quick enough. They keep them on board, and it's a lot of easy things to fix, but they're tough decisions to make.
Why don't you connect the dots? Because when you and I spoke a couple of days ago, you spoke about that one company that doesn't exist anymore, that one training company.
Foxtons?
No, I can't remember. Anyway, where I think where training often falls short, and I wanted you to touch on how Align makes that different. I think where training often falls short is two things. One, they tell you what to do, but they don't tell you how to do it.
Right.
And then two, they don't hold you accountable to what you're being taught.
Right.
So how is Align kind of fixing that break? And that break is everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a lot of coaching that's out there. It's like that.
I mean, even like for our ISA department, for instance, if somebody had their own ISAs and they wanted to plug that into the ISA department, they have daily report cards that they have to fill out, that the ISAs have to fill out. There's group meetings that they have to attend. There's a lot of severe accountability around that, because these are folks a lot of times that are on staff. And that's the same thing with looking at NPS surveys around, what your transaction management team's doing or what your marketing team's doing, or really paying close attention to that. But where I think you're going with this is the agents, is the agent accountability, which we have to be careful with, around the 1099 rules and whatnot. But with that, we need to track their performance. We need to see what it is they're doing. Jen Schiff calls it a careability, like something like that. But her whole idea behind it is, we don't want you to miss and then reprimand you because you missed. We want to be by your side when we can see you're missing, so that we can care on you and then get you into where you need to go. And that's why there's Mondays at 9, Mondays at 10, Tuesdays at 10, Tuesdays at 11:30, Tuesdays at 12. Mm-hmm. It's structured heavily, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But that's why there's a lot of training in place Mondays at 1 o'clock as well, so that the agent has all of that around them and then can come play on and report numbers and what they did the week before and everything. And honestly, proximity, I always talk about it. Like if you're in a stable of racehorses and you want to be a racehorse, the racehorses are reporting their numbers. If you're not going to report your numbers, or if you're not going to be taking action, you're showing up at those meetings, you're going to quit week 3 or 4 anyway. You're going to start hiding. You're going to stop coming to the meeting. So there's a lot of things where I found that just from an accountability standpoint, if you're playing all out and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're happy to show up at those meetings because you know that you're proud, you're trying, you're making an attempt to be a better version of yourself. And as an organization, as a leader, you know, that's what we look for. We want agents. I think I was telling you this yesterday. I don't want the agent that says I want to do exactly the same year over year and that's it. I want the agent that if that's their goal, that they free up more time, they spend a month in Florida or whatever it may be. But there's something, if you're going to keep the income the same, then at least let's benefit your life in a different way and work on systems to do that. But with the agents that we're trying to make, you know, better day in and day out, what we found is, like, from a data standpoint, we're on Zillow Flex. Tri-state area, there's, I don't know how many teams, there's a decent amount. We're top 5 at conversion in all of Zillow Flex in the tri-state area. And that counts in, you know, the smaller teams as well, which, you know, they might only get 10 connections a month or something. We're getting 300, 400 a month. So of the mega teams that are receiving the same amount of connections as we are, we're number 1 in conversion. So we're number 1 in conversion in the tri-state area for our size. And it's funny, you and I talk about, like, Michael Jordan, for instance. Mm-hmm. I'm not happy with that. Like, I see so much success within our own organization that's available, that's not even tapped into, and within the realtors outside of our organization that we'd love to come partner with and have them join, because there's just so much more that if these were corporate sales jobs where people were earning $300,000 a year, these realtors wouldn't be able to hide from the accountability that would be set around their Salesforce system or whatever that may be.
So you have a remarkable leadership team that you've put together in a very short period of time. And as Aligned goes to the next level, I think that it's about to create an earthquake in a good way. What keeps you up at night? Except your 2 young kids.
Well, honestly, too, I mean, anybody can tell you as you're scaling a large organization, there's big cash flow concerns that could come as a result of extreme growth. Those are the conversations that we're having with Chase, we're having with investors, you know, you and I are having. So that's something where it's a new avenue or it's a new possibility where it's scaling that 100 million plus organization, you know, in revenue. Honestly, too, I have, you know, we have to make tough decisions a lot of times. And you and I always talk about how I really like when people like me. You know, I like to be the nice guy in the room. And unfortunately, as you continue to scale and you continue to take more market share and stuff, you start to turn off some of your competitors. And I get that. Or you have to let certain agents go that you really like, but they're not hitting, you know, your minimum standards within the organization. And they're potentially pulling those racehorses down a little bit. So protecting the culture and all of that, you can't please everybody. But I know that if I don't create that world with racehorses, with awesome staff, with rock stars all around just absolutely humming, that I'm actually doing a disservice to the ones that do play all out.
Yeah. I think the challenge is it's very Machiavellian.
That's a big word.
Which is it's better. No. It's actually a guy. It's better to be feared than loved. It's a quote, right? Guys, you know this one. Yeah, look, put shaking their heads.
Do you?
Yeah, of course.
No, you don't.
Yeah, they don't. They'll Google it when they
50-50.
All right, one final question.
Yeah.
How many times a day do you shave?
This is from, so we're shooting this on a Tuesday. This is from last Wednesday. Or last Thursday. I shaved Thanksgiving.
Jesus. How far can you make it? Like, can you really grow it out? Like,
I think we're coming into the, I mean, he's pretty burly. I can get there.
All right, so why don't we do this? Let's set a sales standard.
Yeah.
You won't shave until that standard is hit.
Okay. You tap the table again.
Oh, I know, but I was doing really good. It'll be edited out in the final version.
Yeah, and right now we're coming through. I'm trying to think. I mean, we're in some really good talks with a lot of different people right now with some really, really big things happening. Which for me, it's fun. Like, I look at so many people. I look at the people are talking about how tough the year is and everything like that. And I have agents within my world that are having their best year ever. We're not having an insanely wild year where I want to go lease a Ferrari and I'm flying to the Maldives and all of that stuff. None of that's happening. We're watching things a little bit closer, but we're up year over year. So for me, that's a huge win. And that's really, you know, as we're coming into this, we want more realtors to be up year over year. And, you know, I don't know, maybe it's more of like getting a goal around, do we get 10 more realtors to join or something, or I can't shave my beard until we have, you know,
it's on video. I'm
10,
all about
15
this.
units a year or something. Yeah.
I just want to see you look like, what's the guy who fell asleep for 100? Rip Van Winkle. That's what I want to see. No, I think that the challenge with agents now, and the challenge that you're having, but you're succeeding in it, is expectations, right? Setting reasonable expectations. This market is not down, it's normal.
Right. Yeah.
The last couple of years, everyone was like, just my 8-year-old could sell a home.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's managing that expectation of the agent that, guys, this is real, this is what it is, and we're going to have an uptick again.
Yeah.
Just be ready for it. So now is the time to kind of reel back, you know, like reel in the horses and kind of, you know, do all the basic stuff that we were talking about yesterday on the conference call.
Yep.
Consistency, touch, know someone's anniversary, know someone's birthday.
Yep.
Know like that kind of stuff, and just keep in touch and keep touching people, because when they're ready,
yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Still into Rod Stewart?
I'm still a huge Rod Stewart guy. That's what I should do. I should like grow my beard until I see Rod Stewart live in concert. That's a goal of mine.
No, it's like seeing Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton looks like she's 30. That was
Dolly Parton did a great job. Yeah.
Yeah, but what's "We Will Rock You"? That was so awkward. I didn't understand that music choice. She did Jolene. That was pretty good. And she should have done 9 to 5. But I don't get the "We Will Rock You" thing. That was kind of silly.
She looked great, though.
Did you see it? She looked great.
Yeah.
I thought it was a Dallas.
It was
Cowboy
all over
joke.
my feed. I didn't see it live, but it was. I mean, it was on TV live, but I was busy deep frying a turkey.
What do you guys think? She looked great?
Couldn't tell you.
No comment.
No comment? All right, my man.
Thank you.
Good.
Appreciate
Always
it.
good.